Alright, this is exercise 16 in chapter 5, and this one's huge. They're asking for a lot. So I made a little list down here. So you can go ahead and look that over. I'm going to scroll around too and show you the pseudocode and the flowchart and the program coded out. There is a part of this problem where you're validating a zip code, and there's an easy way to do that. And I'm excited to show you guys about that too. So we'll kind of look at this. If you need to pause it at any point and kind of look it over, do that. I'm sure this isn't the only way you can do this problem, and it might not be the best way, but it's the conclusion I came to. So we'll go over here to the flow chart. There might be some areas where, because this problem's so complex, you're like, why did he do it that way, or this doesn't make sense. I'll try to kind of explain through that if it seems like something that's there might be questions as to why I did that. But like, for example, I've got housekeeping here. As I made that a function. I'm calling to it, and just because I'm using it twice in the program. Same with validating the zip code. There's a block of code I used twice, so I just felt like making a little module. But we've got this. I'm just going to kind of scroll around here on the flow chart, and you can see where this goes to the outputs and ends the program. This way we're going deeper into the problem. So we're continuing through the program here. Just go ahead and look that over. When you go to make this, make sure you change the range for age and the range for a valid number of items. The book has something different. So like the age and the items here, these numbers, change those to what the book has. I don't think I changed too much else, but just kind of look it over, make sure. We have a certain number of tries that we're allowed to get the number of items right, so that's that little portion right there. Here we're just sorting things. Having items greater than 0, including that, is very important. And then, checking for items, period. Getting our total items, total age, counting our customer. Then we ask for the zip code again. So we'll go back up here. Let's see what that housekeeping area looks like. Very simple, so you don't have to have it as a function, but I just felt like doing it. And then validate zip code. This little part right here I'll explain over on the other page, but this is what I'm really, really excited about. It took me a long time to find it. If somewhere in here you want to exit the program, I'm done. You can do that, and we've got a break here, and that's why we also have a break over here. So let's go to the code up here, and let's check this out. So I'll kind of scroll down here. See, I've got these two functions here, and I've declared zip outside of the main area because it's used in here. You can see here, like, I'm calling housekeeping, that's up here, and same with validate zip, right up there. This right here, I'm just making sure you enter a number and not a letter. So that's cn.fail, and then the clear and the ignore part. Somehow those all work, and I'm not entirely sure why, but I'm not gonna complain about it. It's working nice. So we've got our, we've got a certain amount of tries. This area gets a little complicated, but not too bad. And then we've got our end of job. So we're going to put all of our outputs here. So you can kind of look that over. I'm just going to explain real fast this area right here, and then I'll run the program so you can see it working. What's going on here is that I did a lot of searching, hours, maybe days, to try and figure out how to validate a zip code. And there's all sorts of things you can search for. If you don't know what you're looking for, it will take you forever to find it. And you'll search for things like validate a zip code, or only allow numbers, or validate 5 numbers were entered C++, or however you want to do that. I'm sure you guys have done that before. And you'll come across hundreds of posts like I have where very, very smart people who are brilliant but typically don't know how to teach will give you 20 lines, and they'll explain it in computer language, like the way they talk, it's so advanced that you can't, the way they type out their explanation of things, you're like, what is that? What are you even talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. And so, like, some of these words that they use frequently, I don't know what that is. I don't know, and so you might be like, oh, let me copy and paste that code and use that, or let me try and figure out what's going on or incorporate it into this. And a lot of times you get something where someone will explain something, but they assume that you know something else, so they don't throw that in there, and then your code doesn't work, and it's just a bunch of mess. It's really difficult, and I understand that there's really brilliant people out there, but uh, most people don't know how to teach, and they don't know how to explain things using words that are used in our everyday language. So you'll come across stuff like that. So if you don't know what you're looking for, like this is alpha thing, if you don't know to, if you've never heard, you probably have never heard of that. I don't know. I hadn't, so I didn't know what to search for. And therefore you spend hours and days trying to figure this out. But anyway, you'll get, a block of code to, search for something or to validate a zip code, and it doesn't work, or it's too complicated, or whatever the case. I went through string stream. I went through trying to make this, zip an array. All of that takes up way too much space. It might be more efficient, I don't know, but it just didn't. It wasn't working, and it was very, very, very difficult, and none of it worked. So then I came across, after a few hundred different posts and videos and tutorials and all sorts of stuff, one person had some sort of idea, and it was very similar to this, but I had to tweak this a good amount, and it ended up working. So I can't remember where I found it, but so many different posts. So anyway, somebody out there didn't know what they were doing, so that's how I kind of got this right here. But what's going on here is zip has to be declared as a string, and it's because integer and double, they're not. When you type in something, if you type in 4 characters or 5 characters, it's not going to recognize them as individual clicks on the keyboard. It's not going to look at those individual things that you entered, individual characters. It's going to see it as a whole. Whereas string, you don't even have to make this an array, but you can check for each entry, each character that you entered. So it looks sort of like how you would, how an array would look if you're checking through that. But it's not, it's a string. But what you do is you have zip here, and you can have zip.size. I've seen that before too, but this zip.length works perfect, so I'm just going to keep it like that. And I'm checking first of all to make sure 5 characters were entered. Let's start it off with that. So if it fails that, then it's not going to check for all these, I don't think. But if it passes this, I'm going to check now for each character that I clicked on this keyboard. And I'm going to say, okay, is it a character? Is alpha is character? Zip, first character that I entered. Remember, in an array, 0 is the first slot there. So I'm going to check for the first thing, and it's going to say, is that a letter? If it is, okay, then it's going to keep going through the loop. Then it's going to check for the second character I entered. So if I have a zip code that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can do that with string, which is pretty cool. But you want to start it off with checking, zip, the length of that, how many characters were entered if it's not equal to 5. So if through this you say I'm done with this program and you enter a 0, that's why we have that there, break, and then also a break here, because this will get you out of this while loop, and then this will get you out of this while loop to end the program. So you can see it's a very, very simple thing to do, but if you don't know what to look for, it's a hassle. I cannot explain to you how much of a hassle this was to find. But there you go, one line. And let's see, anything else here? Okay, explain that, explain that. This is a little bit of a complicated area, but it's not too bad. You just have to keep track of how many tries, so the first time you enter items, it's going to go through and it's going to count, 1, 2 tries. You start off with 0, then after you go through it once, the variable has, 1, and then it's going to check if tries is 2. Nope. Go through again, and then so it's going to only let you have 2 tries after your first initial entry, and then it's going to break. And somewhere in here you're going to see, like, if you keep going over 20. Let me actually show you this. Let's run the program. Let's go ahead and do that. And I want to show you how the validate zip code works. Let's see. I'm going to type in this. That's 5. Okay, only 5 numbers. See, it recognizes that there's 5 characters, but we've got a letter there. Let's do 5 characters, but they're all letters. Doesn't allow that. Let's do 2 numbers. Nope. Let's do 6 numbers. Doesn't allow that either. Or, and this is where this gets really great if you want to validate a PIN number too. We can start our zip code off with 0 because we're not checking for range. We're just checking to make sure we have 5 numbers. So there's my zip code, and it accepts it. So that is the joy of this one line up here. Wonderful. So age. Now let's test out this right here. cn.fail. Nope, valid age. Okay. Let's do 110. Nope. Okay. 45. Actually, let's keep it as these. Okay, enter number of items. Let's see. The first person, I'm gonna show you this real fast. It's not gonna let me even count this person, valid number of items, and it's not going to keep track of this. It's not going to add this -1 to the total number of items. Okay, so that person is a fluke. He's gone. We're going to move on to the next person. Let's have a local here. And this local is under 30. They're 20. Number of items. Let's have them do 30. Valid number of items. 30. 30. Error. But what's going to happen here is we're going to count this person because that's part of the problem. It wants to allow, if you keep entering over the range, it's going to say, okay, we'll just take it. So this person will be counted and their items will be as well. Let's have another local. And this person is 30 and their items 18. Now let's have someone who is not a local. Enter the age. Well, they'll be 40. And let me see if I want to. Nope, I think we're good there. Okay, so I'll just do 10 maybe. Yeah. Now we'll exit the program. And let's double check here. I know I've checked this problem, but we'll go ahead and run through this real fast. So I know everything works right. Number of items purchased by locals is 48. So you'll notice that this guy is not counted because we have a local here, 30, and then 18, another local, so it's 48. We've got items purchased by others is 10. This person is an out-of-towner, and 10. The average customer age is 30. So we've got 20, 30, 40, so that's 90 divided by 3 is 30. And then we've got the number of items purchased by customers under 30 years old is 30. So let's see, 30 and 40, and then we've got this guy that's 20 and he's got 30 items. Yep. Number of items purchased by customers 30 years and older, 28. So 10 and 18, yep, 28. So you can see this problem is, there's a lot going on, it's very complex, but there's a couple of areas where it could take a long time. Hopefully that validating the zip code area helps. I know that the class hasn't taught that yet, but it's the best way to do it, I think, so far. They might be looking for you to check by checking the range, you know, doing the less than 10,000 and greater than 99,999. That might be what they're looking for, but it's just not the best way to do it. It's not the way you should do it, because if you're checking for a PIN number at your bank, that's not the way they would do it. So it's your choice if you want to use that method or not. I think it's awesome. It took me a long time to find it, but I'm going to scroll down here real fast so you can see the pseudocode again. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.